Jake Paul just got hit with the harshest reality check of his life. And it wasn't during a fight, it happened in a sparring session with none other than Mike Tyson. One punch sent Jake crumbling to the canvas, leaving him with a broken rib and a shattered ego. But it didn't stop there. His overconfidence led him to place massive bets. And now he's facing legal battles after refusing to pay up. This knockout might have just thrown his entire boxing career and the upcoming fight with Tyson into chaos. So, what does this mean for Jake's future in the ring? Hey guys, I am Olivia. Welcome to the channel, where the juiciest celebrity drama unfolds, and nothing stays hidden for long. From shocking scandals to career-shattering moments, we've got the inside scoop that Hollywood doesn't want you to know. If you're ready for the latest twists in the world of fame and fortune, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Trust me, you won't want to look away. Let's kick things off by talking about Jake Paul's mentality going into this sparring session. If there's one thing we've learned about Jake in recent years, it's that confidence is never in short supply. The guy is known for his larger-than-life persona, both online and in the boxing ring. Ever since he made the jump from YouTube fame to boxing, he's been walking around like he's untouchable. He's knocked out MMA fighters, NBA players, and other influencers. He's talked smack and backed it up, to the point where he's now one of the most talked about figures in the boxing world, whether you love him or hate him. But confidence can quickly turn into cockiness, and Jake's biggest mistake in this whole ordeal was underestimating who he was stepping into the ring with. We're not talking about some washed-up fighter or a fellow YouTuber trying to make a name for themselves. This was Mike Tyson, one of the most feared and respected boxers of all time. You would think Jake would show some caution, maybe hold back on the trash talk, right? No, he reportedly called Tyson a sick chicken before the session even began. Yep, Jake thought he could clown on one of the most dangerous men in boxing history. Bold move, Jake. Bold move. So, what exactly went down during the sparring session? Well, it didn't last long, just seconds, really. As soon as the bell rang, Jake was in there, bouncing around the ring with his usual swagger. He had that look in his eye like he was going to give Tyson a run for his money. You could almost see the gears turning in Jake's head. He was likely thinking he could outmaneuver the older, rustier fighter, maybe score some points, and walk away with a win under his belt. But here's the thing, Mike Tyson doesn't play games. Not in the ring. Not ever. Tyson might be 58, but the man's punch still carries the power of a freight train. In just a few quick movements, Tyson saw his opening. Jake was bobbing and weaving, looking to feel out the legend in front of him. Then it happened. Tyson unloaded a punch that came out of nowhere, and before Jake could even react, he was sent crashing to the canvas. This wasn't one of those, oops, I tripped moments. This was a full-fledged knockout. Jake wasn't getting up from this one. He was down, out, and broken literally. The fight world was left speechless. This wasn't a headline-grabbing fight. This was just sparring, yet it had all the drama of a high-stakes bout. Why? Because Jake Paul just got taught the hardest lesson of his life by one of the greatest to ever step foot in a boxing ring. Now, here's where the story takes an even wilder turn. You'd think the humiliation of getting knocked out by Tyson in a sparring session would be bad enough, right? Wrong. Jake's downfall went beyond just what happened in the ring. It turns out, Jake had made some seriously bold bets ahead of the session. And we're not talking about small-time wagers for fun. Jake put big money on the line. He was so sure of himself that he reportedly bet he could take down Mike Tyson in this sparring session. Yeah, you heard that right. Jake Paul, a guy who's been in the boxing game for a few years, thought he could go toe-to-toe with the Mike Tyson, who, let's not forget, has dismantled some of the greatest fighters of all time. Well, spoiler alert, Jake lost, badly. Not only did he lose the sparring session, but his bank account took a major hit too. Now, after getting knocked out, Jake is trying to backtrack on those bets, saying they weren't real because it was just sparring. But here's the thing, when you place a bet, you better be ready to pay up, sparring or not. Multiple lawsuits are now coming Jake's way because he's refusing to pay what he owes. It's just another layer of messiness in a situation that's already spiraling out of control. Jake's overconfidence didn't just cost him his pride, it's costing him financially too. And with these lawsuits piling up, it looks like Jake's problems are just beginning. Now, let's talk about the other half of this story. Mike Tyson. If you're going to step into the ring with Tyson, you better know what you're signing up for. Tyson might be 58 years old, but the man has lost none of the ferocity that made him one of the most feared boxers in history. Let's take a trip down memory lane. Mike Tyson has been delivering knockouts since the 1980s. One of his most iconic victories came in 1986, when he knocked out Trevor Berbick to become the youngest heavyweight champion in history. Tyson didn't just win, he destroyed Berbick, knocking him down twice in a matter of seconds. The fight left Berbick stumbling around the ring, unable to even stand properly. Then there's Tyson's fight against Larry Holmes. Holmes was a legendary fighter in his own right, with only one knockdown in his entire career until he stepped into the ring with Tyson. In the fourth round, Tyson unleashed a flurry of punches that left Holmes crumpled on the canvas not once, but twice. That fight marked the end of an era, as the old guard of boxing realized a new king had arrived. And who could forget Tyson's 91-second knockout of Michael Spinks in 1988? Spinks was undefeated before that fight, and many thought he had a chance to beat Tyson. But Tyson ended the fight in less than 2 minutes, cementing his legacy as one of the greatest to ever do it. So Jake Paul thought he could step into the ring with that guy and walk away unscathed? It's almost laughable in hindsight. Tyson might be older now, but he's still Mike freaking Tyson. He still has that same killer instinct, that same raw power. And Jake found out the hard way that you don't mess with a legend. After the sparring session, things went from bad to worse for Jake Paul. As if getting knocked out wasn't enough, Jake had to be rushed to the hospital with a broken rib. He was in so much pain that he couldn't even stand. He had to be wheeled out of the gym on a stretcher. The guy who usually walks around with all the confidence in the world was left looking like a shell of himself. But the physical pain was just the beginning. Jake's confidence has taken a massive hit, and now the fight that everyone was hyped for, Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson on November 15, 2024, might be in jeopardy. With a broken rib, Jake will need time to heal, and who knows if he'll even be in the right mental state to step into the ring again. And let's not forget about the legal battles he's now facing over those unpaid bets. Lawsuits are coming at him from every direction, and the financial fallout could be huge. Jake might have made a lot of money off his boxing career so far, but if these lawsuits go through, he could lose a significant chunk of his wealth. So what happens now? Can Jake recover from this devastating knockout, both physically and mentally? The broken rib will heal eventually, but the damage to his confidence and his reputation might be harder to fix. Jake Paul has built his entire brand on being the brash, confident guy who talks big and backs it up in the ring. But after this knockout, people are starting to question whether Jake is really cut out for the big leagues. His fight with Tyson was supposed to be a defining moment in his career, a chance to prove that he's more than just a YouTuber with boxing gloves. Now, with the fight in jeopardy and his reputation in tatters, it's unclear whether Jake will be able to bounce back. And let's not forget the legal issues. Jake's refusal to pay up on those bets is dragging him into court, and the lawsuits could take months or even years to resolve. For a guy who thrives on being in the spotlight, this is the kind of negative attention he probably didn't plan for. The boxing world has been buzzing ever since news of Jake's knockout broke. Some are saying it's exactly what Jake needed, a dose of reality after years of beating lower-tier fighters. Others are questioning whether Jake will ever recover from this. Can he regain the confidence he's so famous for? Or will this knockout be the moment that derails his career for good? One thing is for sure, this sparring session has become one of the most talked about moments in recent boxing history. Whether you love him or hate him, Jake Paul getting knocked out by Mike Tyson is a story that won't be forgotten anytime soon. So, there you have it, the full story of Jake Paul's crushing defeat at the hands of Mike Tyson. From a broken rib to a broken ego, Jake is facing challenges on all fronts. Do you think he'll bounce back from this? Or is his boxing career officially on the ropes? Let me know in the comments below. And before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an update on the wildest celebrity drama and sports news. This is Red Rumbles, and we'll see you in the next video.